We've gotten to a point where our guest lecturer was here very early. He's here now. And quickly, let me read his citation before I invite him on. He's a professor of African history, peace, conflict studies, and the pioneer dean of the Faculty of Multidisciplinary Studies in the University of Ibadan. He is not only a theoretician, but he has also consulted for the UN, consulted for UNDP, consulted for several other international agencies, consulted for DFID. Please, a round of applause for Professor Albert Isaac. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I want to start by specially recognizing our mommy, biological children of Professor Akin Mabogunje. I'm calling attention to the word biological because I am one of his academic children. I think I should start by appreciating the Mabogunje family for asking me to deliver this lecture. Professor Mabogunje picked me up from the point of starting my PhD in the University of Ibadan. And since then, he's been a great mentor that significantly contributed to my scholarship. I read history, and we historians are considered to be very good in remembering dates. But Baba was better than me in that area. Because when you tell him any story or you say anything, he will give you the precise date. He will say it is Yayali. He will say it is Muhammad. He will say it is Nkechi. And how he succeeded in, building so much in his brain, was surprising to me. Now, the title of this lecture is Akin Mabogunje's Intellectual Leadership in Multidisciplinary Urban Studies. And in the lecture, we have two important terminologies or concepts that I think we must explain from the word go. Baba's life, of course, is a good example on how one could be an intellectual leader. Anybody could be a professor, but not all professors are intellectual leaders. You become a professor writing papers, and then eventually you make decisions for becoming a professor, and then you are pronounced a professor. And I was discussing this with my senior colleague, Professor Okebukola, that the problem we are facing in Nigeria now is that we professors are unable to reproduce ourselves. It's a big problem. So what we are trying to say in this presentation is that Professor Mabogunje established himself not only in Nigeria but across the world. I traveled with him to a number of places as an intellectual leader. On several occasions, you find agencies asking him to visit them just to help process their data, advise them on how things should be done. Before he died, Baba published a book titled Egba Palimpest, the story of Egba land from the 19th century devastation to the colonial period. He invited me to Bodija and he brought the script out. I think he's been working on this script for a very long time, colored. So he showed me the document and he told me what the ideas, was. And we reflected. But I didn't know that he wanted to publish it. He just decided to share the manuscript with me. And I got to know that that manuscript was published only after his departure. And the publication I got to know later was produced from his Masters of Art thesis at the University of London in 1958. And he kept adding to the data, to the point that when he published the book, You see academic maturity. You see history that you will never find ordinarily on the street. And I think that publication speaks loudly to his contribution to knowledge. And I was actually asking myself that type of work should be promoted officially. But the question I ask myself is, who is going to promote it officially? So I want to thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, and let me also acknowledge some of my bosses around, Professor Olawale. I mean, too many of you are here that are my bosses. I thank you for coming, and once again, I thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you so much.